All right, let's talk Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This is a team right now that I think is being slept on a little bit in the national media. We're hearing a lot of talk about teams in the SEC. We're hearing about the teams, of course, in the new Big Ten, the new revamped Big Ten. A lot of programs there making a lot of noise. But the Fighting Irish have quietly have had a really, really strong spring, and there's a couple young playmakers making their mark. And one in particular is young wide receiver Jaden Greathouse. He's really impressing a lot of folks. Let's get into the report, then we'll talk about it more in detail on the other side. This is courtesy of 24/7 Sports. Greathouse produced a strong freshman campaign despite a nagging hamstring injury that sidelined him for a couple of games. Now healthy, the former blue chip prospect is coming into his own this spring. He'll still be a weapon for the Fighting Irish in the slot, but expect offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock to use him all over the field. I think his natural position coming into Notre Dame was probably a slot receiver. Coach Marcus Freeman said of Greathouse, out of necessity, out of really the confidence he built our coaching staff last year, we had to put him outside and do some different things. Now going into year two, he's built the capacity to be effective inside as a slot receiver or go outside. So to have a guy that can do that, it's going to truly benefit us. And of course, the fact that Greathouse has done a great job so far this offseason helps highlight the fact he's about to be a breakout star for this Notre Dame offense. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this news. But first, Fighting Irish fans in the comment section below. Look, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, the NFL draft is just a few short days away. So again, in the comment section, give us your favorite first round draft pick that played at Notre Dame. There's a lot of really great ones. A lot of great offensive linemen come to mind for me personally, but there's a number of, I mean, it's basically it's almost endless. I mean, Kyle Hamilton recently is another great one, but give us in the comment section below your favorite Notre Dame player that went on to be a first round draft pick. But all right, Miles, what do you think of this report and just everything it means for this Notre Dame offense going forward?
Yeah, Nick, for me, draft pick, recency bias, but definitely Kyle Hamilton's got to be up there. But talking about Greathouse, he could be the next guy. He could be the guy to break out in this group of potentially disappointing receivers out of Notre Dame who's gone on to the draft. Miles Boykin, Chase Claypool, namely, who really didn't pan out. But I think Greathouse is different. I think this is a guy who comes into Notre Dame and he is going to be a great dynamic receiver, as they said. He worked himself from being just a slot guy to a guy that can go slot and outside. And that is namely because this is a guy who knows what to do. He knows zone coverage, he knows spacing, he knows the timing of his routes. He has great feet, and I think those are his skills. But the thing that really is good is his catch radius and his hands. He has been an excellent receiver. He has one of the better drop grades in all of college football last season, as in he doesn't drop the ball. 85.1 drop grade per PFF last season. So if you throw it to him, he is most likely going to catch it. And I think this is a guy that as the year goes on this year, we're going to see more and more how dynamic of a playmaker he is. All this whole article was all spurned off of Notre Dame posting this 32-second highlight reel of Greathouse over the last month. And he was making catch after catch in spring ball, just every day, making highlight reel light catches, beating guys for jump balls, all kinds of stuff. So this spring ball, he has really started to come out and look like an absolute dominating force. He's even done it against some of the better defenders on Notre Dame's roster, mainly Xavier Watts, the reigning Bronco Nagurski Trophy recipient, came out, beat him on a tough contested catch during spring ball. So I think that was great. But the fact that, Freeman comes out and says they feel like they're going to be able to move this guy around and really utilize him more this year has me really excited for what Greathouse is going to bring to this offense going forward. I think last year, Notre Dame, the offense, it was kind of sputtering at times. Then, I don't think the quarterback they brought him in, I don't think he did quite as much as I would have liked him to do. I think it was pretty okay, but, they didn't in the end get to where they wanted to be. But I think having a guy like Greathouse at full motor is going to be good for Notre Dame going forward.
Yeah, I agree with you on Hartman, by the way. I thought he was good, not great. It's one of those weird things where I was expecting Notre Dame to maybe go to maybe make the Final Four. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for the Fighting Irish last season. But look, back to Greathouse. I love the fact that he's overcome some adversity, right? He's a guy, obviously, was a blue chip prospect, come in, natural position. Everyone thought he's going to be a slot guy, gets pushed to the outside, gets some reps, tweaks his hamstring, basically gets relegated to the bench just because he gets left out of the fold, and now comes into spring, right? So he's all this, kind of adversity, going through his freshman year. He doesn't go in the transfer portal. He doesn't leave Notre Dame. He doesn't do any of that stuff. What does he do? He gets to work. He gets better and shows out and balls out, right? That's what you want from a blue chip prospect. Actually, that's what you want from everybody, but definitely from a blue chip prospect. And the fact that he had to overcome some adversity, the fact that he had to play a lot at outside wide receiver, those kind of skill sets, that versatility, that availability will absolutely benefit him and this Notre Dame offense going forward into the future. Because one of the most valuable things a receiver can do, my personal opinion, and we see in the National Football League all the time, is to have a receiver that can line up and run routes and beat defensive backs anywhere on the football field. The Cowboys do this with CeeDee Lamb. The Detroit Lions do this with Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? All of the great receivers can line up everywhere and anywhere, and it just throws defenses out of a loop because there's always a weakness to a defense, and everyone loves playing these zone coverage these days because everyone's scared to death of man. If you got a receiver you can line up on at the slot, if you can line up outside, if you can go in motion, then he can literally just by line up and by play design, but just basically force himself open into the zone coverage and be extremely productive. That's what we're seeing from Greathouse in terms of his skill set so far this spring. And I think that will be big for Notre Dame going forward. Having a lot of plays, because I felt like at times, especially in the passing game, they didn't have a lot of players where it just schemed open, right? It felt like it was a lot of, well, we're just more talented, relying more on our running game, dink and dunk kind of stuff at time. I'm going back to the Ohio State game a little bit. But if you have a guy that can line up and be versatile everywhere and just kind of get open by design and take advantage of weaknesses in the defense, it can make throwing the ball down the field a lot easier. And I think that's exactly what Greathouse will bring to this Notre Dame offense.
Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, even your relatives. It's all out there. That's why we use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows us which data brokers are selling our information and automatically submits opt-out requests for us.
Cleaning up our information not only reduces the amount of that stupid spam we all get, but it also protects us from hackers who could use this information to help them access our social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also does much more to protect us and our families from online threats. We also get features like antivirus protection, VPNs, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. That's really key. One location, get all this great stuff. It's really easy to set up. And the best of all, we get everything at one affordable price.
You may already have one or two of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on doing the hard work of keeping us safe so you can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. We value our privacy and we also value yours. So go to aura.com/SMI college to start your 2-week free trial. Again, linked in the description below. Go to aura.com/SMI college to start your 2-week free trial today.